morning, fam. I'm going to start trying to tag some people first if I can. I'm using my phone because I have better reception for whatever reason. So doing my morning tags, I had a time to take a deep breath and kind of relax out of. So I was up praying early this morning, probably about 4:30. I as much as you might think that I am anti-religious, I am very close to Christ, and probably without God in my life, I probably would have lost it on it in some ways that would not even be good. But I like living more, and I ain't built for prison, so that ain't my agenda. That's why I'm dogmatic about my hair, my teeth, maintaining my health. And one of the things I wanted to ask you guys, if you ever hear some bull crap and they told you that Kwasi committed suicide, some nonsense, y'all better get your behinds to Jersey, because I'm telling you right now, that's some bull crap that would never happen. So that's some setup. I'll tell you that right now. So get that on out your head. All right, I think that's all I'm going to do right now. So good morning. I'm going to have you guys here. I'm so happy to see you and to see that we're back on track. So I'm doing this a little different because I wanted to see this little crime bill. Now, one of the things that the 45 tried to do in the middle of the night last night is to bring the Affordable Care Act and have it demolished. That I don't think that worked. We're going to see. All right, this new criminal justice reform is aimed at fixing and perceiving errors in the criminal justice system. Well, we know there's errors been in the criminal justice system all the time, so I'm not quite sure what they're dealing with. So we're not giving you what you can get on the news. I'm going to just give you the particulars of what's going to be happening. They're going to reform sentencing, discriminatory sentencing regulations, drug policies, policy of brutality, broken window. I don't know what the hell they need a broken window. That's some nonsense that 45 put in there. You're going to have to put in the crime bill, something about broken windows, please. Okay, broken windows, policing, protective policing, stop and frisk, re-entry, juvenile justice reform, arguments on criminal justice reform, support reform, conservative support reform. What the hell is the difference between a conservative support and a liberal? Sometimes, we got to look at things and you think something is happening, ain't really happening at all. So what they're also going to be doing is decreasing in the United States the prison population or desecration, and reducing prison sentences that are perceived too harsh and long. Now, I showed you those two black girls that they went to prison for life for killing a white officer who already had been fired for pornography and dealing in sex trafficking. So, George Zimmerman can kill Trayvon Martin as a citizen because he was scared, shoot a child with Skittles and Arizona iced tea. But you have now, and I took you all the way back to slavery because they've been killing, murdering, and hanging black women if you said anything about your massa raping you. If you fought back in any way during slavery, you were killed. So don't believe the hype about the because they tried to justify raping us during that time, saying we were Jezebels, that we had hyper sexual desire. Who are you out there working on a field for umpteen hours and you get no pay? I can assure you, for those of us who work regular jobs, you ain't trying to come home and the first thing you do is decide you want to go and have sex with your boss. Okay? And you ain't getting paid? And I'm not talking about prostitution. I'm just talking about that is not the first thing that is on your mind. So that's why I went back to show you how long the black woman has been taken advantage of and how long we have been murdered or given life prison sentences for fighting back. But a police officer can be afraid with a gun and a person with no weapon, and you get off. But you can rape a black woman, and if she fights back, you can give her life in prison. The one girl that I showed you with the shorter hair, Crystal, she was 17. This man had been trafficking her, and this is the one thing we first have to understand. Young girls that are being sex trafficked is no different than using women or girls to be mules to carry drugs. A young girl who's 13 or 14, you living on the street, and an adult, a white male, knows that this is the same way the young African girl died in Florida. You have nowhere to go. The one thing that just men are just having, I'm not saying every man, but most disgusting men get power. Sex, even in prison, is not about raping. Sex is having power over someone else. And that power, sometimes it's really, it's more to belittle you. It's more to show you that you're nothing. And so this country has made it their business to always demean a black woman. We all saw Michelle Obama for 8 years. She gave it for the black sister. And I'm not talking just the black sister. I'm talking about the chocolate sister. And not that I am differentiating the colorism or perpetuating the colorism, but because I was born a black chocolate girl, I've always been looked at differently. Because you'll get, are you really pretty for dark skin? I'm like, what the hell does that mean? So I want you to understand the way that I'm trying to bring this to you is not in any way an excuse, but to seem like I'm differentiating. But the years of 401 years of raping black women, it was legal. It was actually legal. A black woman could not claim that she was raped. If your master owned you, you had to give him what he wanted, no matter how he wanted it. And I'm not even going to be graphic, because some of the things they used to do to black women were beyond your possible imagination. Tie them up to trees in straddle positions, legs straddled, put them in like branding holders where their backside's up and all you see is their behinds. So I was just trying to think of, because we can be all over the place in this reform, and everybody is going to have their concentration on different areas. Let me do some good mornings first, because I don't have my glasses on. So Ashley, good morning. Hey Trudy, girlfriend. Oh, Leo Queen, you my girl. You got me all the time. So Karen, what's up, sis? So I just want to do some quick hellos because I don't see you without my glasses on. So I'm just trying to get some in real quick. Hey, cousin Sonia. Hey, William, what's going on in the city, bro? What's up with the furs? Anybody buying the furs right now? You know what I mean? William is a really good friend of mine, and white. He's my furrier in New York. So when things get back open, hopefully William Beep will be back in the buying furs because I got too many. All right, so we're back to the conversation. Now, I don't want any of you to leave my page or leave my my conversations with some thought that this is some plot against white people. What I'm saying to you that the disproportionate number of African Americans dying in this country for health reasons, heart attacks. Black women have more heart attacks, hypertension, police brutality, and now raping of black women. It's irregular. It's irregular. You have to ask yourself, because as a judge, I've gone to the prison system on many different occasions. I have visited a lot of different prison systems, and I always ask, how is it that women get pregnant in prison? If it's all women in prison, you have a lesbian lover, she ain't got no penis, so I don't understand that. But that's regular in prison. But see, we forget that's like a forgotten community, the prison system. Also, we've talked about this earlier before we got into this nonsense with the coronavirus, but the girls on the border that are locked away that we kind of forgot happened 2 years ago are coming up with babies. The boys and the girls are not in the same facility. So who's procreating by force these children that are children within these facilities? So we are so distracted on a daily basis with the tomfoolery of what we call this Trump nation right now. The amount of criminality that is affecting our communities and is affecting some of a lot of the Mexican community, because they've been at it since we got off the escalator. But remember, 45's racism against black people started with his father, Fred Trump, back in the 70s with the slumlord. He had more criminal complaints, his father, of how they treated African Americans different than they treated other groups. Now, the one of the things that just boggles my mind, and so this is for those people that immigrate to this country, especially if you immigrated as an adult. If you immigrated here as an adult by marriage or for a job, you don't know a damn thing about America. So you need to stay up out of any conversation that has to do with African Americans in this country. If you chose not to be educated on the country you moved to, you just merely came here for your own personal economic gain, then you need to, bak, as my sister watches Korean subcaptions, and one of their little flipsy things they say is bak bitch. Okay, so you bak. All right, if you don't know anything about American history, and you came here voluntarily to get the monies and to get the jobs that black people have been trying to get since we got here in 1619. So I put another community up there on my post last night because there seems to be some misconception that we are in the position that we are in because we are lazy. It seems to be a misconception that if we could not vote until 1965, let me tell you the other things that we couldn't do. We couldn't have patents. We couldn't own a company. We couldn't own property. So, just to give you just a few things, Benjamin Franklin did not invent the light. The liniment in that light was invented by a black man, and I'm not going. We gonna have African history at the time. I'm gonna let you sometimes, me telling you some things. Sometimes it seems like, if I tell you, it's like you go in front of your preacher, they tell you stuff and you don't go back and read. Every single thing on a farm that is made convenient is because the slaves had made it convenient for them. The sharecropping machine was made by a black slave who could not get a patent. That patent went to a white man. To this day, those fields in the Midwest where all that money is because of a black man's invention. Something as simple as the broom. So we're cleaning up white folks' house. We got to dust the floors. Before, they used to have the straw at the end of a stick. You know, after a while, the black women have worked in these homes so long, you know, your back ain't feeling that bending over. It was a black woman who decided to wrap the straw to a long stick, the broom. So the hard bottoms of the bottom of your shoes, a black invention. Traffic lights. We can go on and on, but because we could not get a patent, we could not own it, down to music. We know we are the kings of pop, jazz, R&B. We play classic. We have opera singers. During the time when let's say when in the 60s, where you had so many of the jazz singers, you could write your music, but if you wanted your music to be put on an album and to be played, you basically you sold your album of music to a producer. We didn't have no production companies. Now, we had Gamble and Huff down in Philly. You had Motown out in Detroit. But to try to get prime time, a lot of black people wanted to get to Sony. You know, that's, Mariah Carey, she did even better. She married the president of Sony when she was like 17, 18. He left his wife. He wanted her so bad. But that was a marriage of about 20-year difference that didn't last. But, so I'm not going to tell you that some people don't do things for the purpose of advancement. And I'm not here to desecrate or to say Mariah Carey did anything that a lot of other women didn't do. But that she married the head of Sony. All right, and she's been rich ever since. So everybody own their own decisions that they make, but we have to have a serious conversation, because you kill our black men by bullets. You diminish black women. We went through 8 years, and this is to tell you how racist this country is, because we had to hear for all 8 years that there is no more racism because you chose a black president. Really, though? How you like America now? Because we're on hyperbolic racism right now. This 45 has spent the last 4 years trying to criminalize specifically President Obama. Now, he's just the 43rd, 44th, you the 45th, 43 on back to 1. George Washington, you got all kinds of rapists and murderers and all kinds of stuff back there. How come 45 is so, this man's, let me not be gross, but this man, must shrivel at the sight of a real black man. President Obama is all up in his head like acid. The jealousy that he has is undeniable. But we know that Melania has, she may stay in the back. Well, let me just tell you this one thing. I know it has nothing to do with nothing, but when 45 found out in November that he won, you know what Melania did? Her first thing? Melania called her lawyer. You know why? Trump makes everybody sign a prenup in order, to go through marriage. Melania called her lawyer, especially right after the thing with the 27 women and the grabbing the pussy and all that stuff. She called her lawyer. Oh yeah, y'all saw her out there. I would love to see what she got, because now she had the ball in her hand. She changed her entire prenup so that he could be president. So don't think for 1 second that Melania was down with the bull crap with that sexual harassment allegations against 45. What she did was, she's just pimping him out because she made sure that whatever the Trump other the Ivana Trump, that's Ivanka Trump Jr. and Eric are only children of Ivana Trump. Then Marla Maples had the other younger daughter. Marla Maples' daughter is not equal to the three Ivana Trump. Ivana Trump will tell you, you can go back, she is the only Miss Trump because she didn't have no prenup. And in fact, in her divorce, she wrote that he constantly sexually assaulted her. Now, when he was starting to run for president, she backed off of that because she's like, okay, she did the same thing that that Melania did. She said, I will disregard or say that was not the truth with Sabonis's. So you may not see her. She moved to New York from California after living in California for years. Came back to New York because now her children are part of the first family. Now, she renegotiated her divorce, and she's been divorced from the man for like 25 years. Same. So, these don't think these white women, especially Melania, be best? Be best, really? The child don't even have a sense of a full sentence. What has she done? We saw Michelle Obama with white children, black children, Asian children. She loved kids. She wanted children to have good health. She wanted children to eat better. She wanted children to thrive. She wanted children to have a sense of self. The same thing that we say to our black girls every single day. So one of the things that is so important to me, I guess, when, seeing that young 27-year-old die last night it was something that was to the gut, because I am very much a part of the reforming of what the vision of black people are in this country. So I am not here to say that your life doesn't matter, but if you can't say my life matters, it's like one of the examples I gave to AT&T. You go into the hospital, and everybody in the hospital is sick. Some people are sicker than others. And then you see somebody codes. All kinds of bells ring. Everybody runs to that code. Coding means you're about to die. That, all the bells. Black people in America, we're coding. We're coding in every single area. We're dying the most of corona. Now, I just spoke to one of my girlfriends this morning, Mimi, from Nigeria. And I said I was going to call her back because I'm going to see if I can get her on WhatsApp. They have a big difference in time in Nigeria than we do. And so but she's saying that the elite are dying in Nigeria for whatever reason. Because when I first came on here, oh man, I can't get my WhatsApp on here. All right, sorry, Mimi. I'm going to have to put you on tomorrow, sis. Because I wanted her to tell you the perspective of what's going on in Africa. Because I don't understand us black people. The authorities or the bigwigs in Africa, they're looking over here to see that the heads over here are not wearing PPE. She said the prime minister, the past prime minister died last week. The vice president of Nigeria died. When I first started looking at the stats in Nigeria, or in Africa, period, I mean, I have more friends in Nigeria, Ivory Coast, South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, and Ethiopia, and Egypt. So those are the places, and Ghana. So those are the places that I usually call to see what's going on, as far as our folk are going. They didn't even have it at first. It was 260 in the whole freaking country. All of a sudden, it's being ravished over. It's ravishing in Africa just now. So we weren't supposedly sending people over there, but other countries were. A lot of Europeans have their vacation homes in Africa, and nobody was stopping them from coming to their vacation homes. So they were coming from Italy, coming from Spain, coming to their vacation homes. And when they came, they bought coronavirus. Now, anybody go back to my page in March, the first thing I said was, Africa, Africa, close your borders. I literally called everybody that I knew in the 7 countries that I go to most often to close your borders, because white folks are going to come there to try to run from this disease. We have a disease that is killing us. We're up to 250,000. We have more people that has died from coronavirus. 68% of you, and I keep saying this number, and you need to get it in your head, 68% are African Americans. And last night, the only thing Trump could think about doing was defunding the Affordable Care Act that he wants to call Obamacare. People don't even have enough money, the $200, to get the shot. So when you are voting, and that's why I'm going to keep this short, because I'm going to come on later on after we hear more about what is happening with this new reform bill, because it still has to go to the Senate. Congress can pass the bill. They are really, 45 has just decided that coronavirus no longer is something that he cares about, because, you dying. This man takes a test every single day. One thing I noticed that he's not doing anymore is shaking hands. He does that rope. He is no longer coming close to that rope. Every single person on his team has to take a coronavirus test every single day. So don't think that they're out there braving it. They're not. Because if you got 6 people who got coronavirus before going to Oklahoma, and they take coronavirus tests every day, y'all, they skipping something, and they getting something that none of us have. So this was just a short morning, because I had to get up and pray that my spirit, that when I speak to you, I have to do it without my own anger, because the angry black woman is one of those things that one of those persons that is that negative, but I am that angry black woman. I'm not going to tamp down my anger because you have vilified black women for having emotions about the things that you do to us. You compare us to monkeys, and like you did with Michelle, and we're hyperbolically sexually, but you can rape us and send us to jail for life. The black woman has made less than any other group that has come to this country. Asian women make 3 times the amount of a woman educated at an Ivy League school in this country. Okay? The European women, by and large, at our largest university, where the same black woman will go, will make 20 to 40% higher than a black woman. It is well known, and this should be a part of the reform in this country. Every company must pay an employee of the same category the same salary. If you are going to get any monies from the government, any assistance from the government, your company has to, and I said this to AT&T yesterday, should pay the same salary to every person in that same position. It's very important. I said this yesterday, and I'm going to say it again. If you are applying for a job, and this is what I proposed to AT&T yesterday, that the person in their application should not have to say whether they're female or male. The only thing that it should be needed to say is whether you're an American citizen. Because for me, as a descendant of a slave, I should have priority over somebody who came over here after the fact. Because if 45 has in his immigration policy that in order for you to have citizenship, you have to bring something to the table, meaning you have to come with a degree, you have to come with a skill, you have to come with something that benefits us here in this country. So if that's the case, then every black person in this country should go to school for free. Again, I'm back at our reparations. If we built this country, and we can go through the thousands of patents that white people have of black inventions, because black people could not get a patent until the 1950s. Madam C.J. Walker made herself a millionaire, but she could not patent the hot comb. They just didn't know how to use it. The iron, we did that. Why? Because we were taking care of their clothes. The drum in a dryer. Because if the sun wasn't drying it fast enough, we had to make some way to make heat flow through the clothes so we can get ironed and get them folded up so the muscle woman want to get her clothes fast enough. So this is a more of a pride conversation. Be not defined by any group, not even black men. Don't let a black man put you down, sis. Because he's just shown you that he has been broken by the psychological Willie Lynch syndrome that has plagued us since 1912. You know, our differentiation in color. I am dark, I am nappy, I am beautiful. I carry myself like that all the time. People are like, how do you get dressed up every day and you at home? I don't dress up for you. If we weren't on FaceTime, I get dressed every morning. I get dressed every morning as if it's a regular day. Because my life is not going to stop because y'all ain't doing what y'all supposed to do in Washington. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in this, change and not continue. Because if you don't, you're going to sit home and get fat and get lazy because you haven't been doing anything. I get out here this morning. You may see me like this, but I'm out here sweating on this ground doing my little push-ups, my jump rope. I continue to do what I have to do to keep my health. You're going to gain some weight if you ain't moving around. If you're not taking a walk for your own health, take a walk. Because see, you know what, black women? They will let us die. They'll let us die. They don't want to give us health insurance. They want to rape us and kill us. But we're not having that. So I'm going to talk to you later after I get me a little news under my belt for today. I have some Zoom work to do. But again, I wanted to let you know I am concerned about us. I love every last one of you, not because you decide to like, and not because you love me back. See, love is patient. Love does not count wrongs. Y'all can go in Corinthians. I ain't going to want to give y'all you know what love is. And I got pay love. I love you because you are a part of me. You are a part of the mitochondrial DNA that the black woman put in her, that came from her body, the first Eve that made this world. The reason why the psychological warfare among the Caucasoids are to try to make us feel less because they know that we are diamonds. We are the beautiful black diamonds that started the humanity of this world. If you go back to the information that I provided for you, when the mitochondrial DNA of that African woman, there is none other than one. There's no other female that has been born since or after that has the mitochondrial DNA, but an African woman. Now, some of us have been mixed with other ethnicities, so it may be lower. But I did my DNA, and that was before you guys. I'm talking with doctors, not spitting in nothing and sending it anywhere. When I did mine, I was back in my 20s. Like I said, some of you know me as Cherie Lynn Jackson. I will answer to Cherie Lynn Jackson because that's the name my mother and father gave me. Cherie because my father loved Stevie Wonder, my Cherie Amour. So my first name was Cherie. My family name is Jackson. But my ancestral family name is Quarles. So if you see Quarles on my page, those are my cousins. If you see Hubbards on my page, those are my cousins. If you see Jones and Jacksons, those are my cousins. My family is deep. My grandmother had over 20 kids. So I'm going to just leave it at that. My mom had lots of brothers and sisters. So I have over 200 cousins. And we are all connected. We don't go by first cousins or second cousins or any of that because our family is close. My father had a smaller family. But you are my family by just by birthright of being in a country where we have commonalities in the things that happen to us. Nobody's going to ask you, are you my sister or my brother? If we're walking down the street, two black people, if they accost us, they're going to accost us together. So I advise that we be very mindful of the next 5 to 6 months. It is not a secret that the white supremacists are preparing for a race war. The dog whistling by Trump is coming out every single day. Every time he has been interviewed, he basically said yesterday that we have to do something about these thugs and these criminals that are, it's treason. He just uses that word all the time. He's indicated that anyone who desecrates one of these Confederate monuments with spray paint is a 10-year prison sentence. So you value a stone, but you don't value whether a black man breathes. You will set a prison sentence off the top of your idiotic, non-functioning, jello in your head and say that anyone who desecrates one of these statutes gets 10 years, but we can watch a black man get killed. We can watch a Spanish man get killed. You can kill a woman in her bed. You can chase down a black man running down the street, and you can say nothing. But you can spend an hour and a half talking about desecrating races that have been put in stone. And while we're at it, let's tear down Mount Rushmore. Thomas Jefferson and Madison and Lincoln have been on that damn Mount Rushmore. That was financed by the Ku Klux Klan. Why do we have to? It's 5,724 feet. That's how big Mount Rushmore is. Tear the bitch down. That's tear it down. If I do not need to have to look at those who murdered my ancestors, it's as simple as that. If your ancestors, if you white ancestors were murderers, I don't give a damn. Matter of fact, if they're your murderers, we need to come after your finances for some of these civil lawsuits that we need to bring against some of these people who have lineage to murderers. Y'all, because y'all surely wanted to come after OJ's money in civil, even though he was found not guilty. Anything that he ever makes, y'all want your money. Okay, so we want our money. Every last one of those Confederates that were killing us to keep us in slavery, whatever their family lineage has been, that is still making money to this day, we want our money. If we're going to do this, let's do it fair. Let's do it by the system, the legal justice system that you taught me, that I learned very well. So there is a lot to talk about. And, some of the things we know they're not even going to do. Let's stop the bullshit. Let us be honest about what we're really going to do here in America. We need to go back into those prison systems and pull out some of these people that have been sitting and rotting for marijuana charges for 20 years. Life sentences for joints. Life sentences. That 3 strikes you out that they had in the 90s under Clinton, that gave you life sentence if you got 3 strikes. It didn't matter to what it was. Life in prison. Nobody should be in prison for life for a joint when a cop can kill a black man and get no time. So That's what we first need to do. And then we need to have places for them to go and get rehabilitated. Because if you lived in a box for the last 20 years, you haven't seen all of the new inventions that have been since the internet, the phone. I remember watching a man get out of prison after 25 years and he had never seen a cell phone. We need to go and make the prison system now not a penal system, because right now the prison system is a penal system. It's a system that just penalizes you for wrong. It is not a rehabilitative system. If you are doing a sentence that's less than 20 years, that 20 years should be used wisely. Schooling, education, counseling, because some people are guilty of crimes that they commit. But were they sentenced fairly by that white judge? And I can tell you 90% of everyone sentenced in this country is sentenced by a white judge. Because only a black woman judge in Texas can come down after a white woman kills a black man and get off the bench and find it necessary to give her a hug and give her a Bible. That was some crazy black woman craziness. Because I don't know what that black judge was thinking about in Texas, but she lost her everlasting mind. Now, she took the cue after the brother of the boy, the young man that was slain. You know, for him, you know what? See, we have to always make it right with God in our spirit. White folks don't feel like they got to make it right with God. They can kill an abortion doctor, but they don't think you talking about you worrying about life of a birth that's not gotten here. I have to have a baby if I'm raped, because that's what the Republicans say. You can get raped, you must have that child. What kind of nonsense is that? You telling me you can rape me and I have to work? I have to carry that rapist seed in my belly for 9 months? I don't think so. So why are you concerned about my vagina? I don't understand that. So when you're thinking about what they're arguing about, it doesn't make any sense. But you will go and shoot a doctor just because he legally performs something that's legal. See, the diabolical way they think, it doesn't make any sense. So don't get caught up in their nonsense. So I'm gonna, I always say when I go up off of my my emotions, because my feelings are real. What I think about you, when I think about the conversations that I have with you, they come from a place of love, a place of pride. I'm proud to be a black woman, and and I'll be 59 years old in a couple of weeks, and I'm proud, like fine wine, to be 59. Because my aunt I showed you that's 96, I'm gonna be her, still talking smack, but still loving you. So until this evening, grace and peace to you. I pray that every last one of you are in good health, that your spirit is free from any hurt, harm, or danger, that your children are covered by the blessings of God. I hope that your life is not permanently changed by some of the decisions that are going on and some of the effects of coronavirus as it is ravishing over the communities that Trump is visiting. He brings along with him coronavirus. More people are dying in every state that he has visited. And I pray for your protection. I pray for your common sense to know when and when not to go out, what to wear. I'm not here to be your mother or to tell you how to live your life. I pray that you make good decisions for yourself that will ensure that your future is not snuffed away from you in these next few months as the violence that Trump is counting on may break out. And if it does, I can tell you, I'm not going to any violence, but I would suggest no violence comes to my house. I will stand on my porch, standing my ground. You will not get past me to my child. And you best believe, like every other white person that's locked and stocked, Takwasi is going to stand her ground. She's going to protect her family. I'm not going after nobody. Everybody on my block are beautiful people. Anybody that roll up here is going to be visitors. But then you got to think about those 3 officers. It wasn't one, my mistake. It was 3 officers in that car that was talking about we need to kill these niggas. The chief of police was a black man. Think about that. They work for black men out there talking about we need to kill some of these niggas. There's too many niggas around here. Oh yeah, we here. We here. And we ain't afraid. We're going to stand our ground because we built this ground. We are the tillers of all the soil upon which you make your profit every day. We work harder, but we are most broken. My job is to put back the pieces that has so long been shattered. Some may not fit anymore. Some we may just have to leave out. But the healing of the black community must start with us forgiving each other. You know, we have so many different things that we hold grudges to our family members or our mothers or whoever it is. Get right with them. Get right with God. Get right with yourself, because that deterioration will kill you. Too many other people are hating us and trying to kill us for us to be hating and trying to kill each other. So I am going to end now, letting you know that I love you. Deuces. Talk to you tonight.